fragrance.
And now we're here with Terrence from Memoir's Fragrances, and he is from Chicago. I just want him to say this because he said this earlier. Which pizza is this again?
Chicago.
He said New York earlier. I'm telling you, I swear, I promise. He said New York earlier.
We would never admit to anything like that on camera.
Anyway, we're Grace with Terrence. Today we're here at Nordstrom flagship store in New York City, and we are going to talk about his fragrances. Could you tell us a little bit of a background about your brand?
Absolutely. So Memoir Fragrances, I call it my autobiography in scent. You know, I feel like creators should tell the story through the medium that speaks to them. And so each scent is based on like a unique Chicago cultural moment, but it also is a part of my life. So that's sort of the overarching story of Memoir.
Okay, and you told me earlier as well that you started making fragrances in 2013 where there was no black perfumers or perfumery yet.
Right, that's true. Like, so we started this journey. I was a collector first. And my friends, you know, they kind of saw me, and I'm sure all people who love scent, as the scent guy.
Yes.
And they were like, you know, one of them in particular, his name was Munson Steed, a good friend of mine. He says, hey man, you need to make your own scent. And initially I was afraid. I was kind of scared of the thought of doing that because I thought it would kill my passion towards collecting scents. But you know, he said, no, when you really love something, it doesn't feel like work at all. Mm-hmm. And so I started tinkering. You know, I started tinkering, and the first scent was a street in Bronzeville. I started tinkering with a street in Bronzeville and came up with something that I liked it, but I didn't know if it was good. You know, I didn't have a reference point, so I kept a bottle of it and I just rolled around in the car with it. And when people would hop in, I would just have them check it out. And I got so many great reactions for it. I was like, you know, I might be on to something here. You know, and so my father, my friends, everybody just kept pushing me forward until, you know, here we are.
This is actually a really, really great fragrance. I feel like this is a good fall winter scent.
Yeah.
It's just a cuddle moment fragrance.
Yeah, no, it definitely has that oak moss and the bergamot in the opening. Definitely kind of grounds out with some patchouli and cedar.
Yes, the patchouli is not very dirty on this.
It's not dirty because I know that patchouli is a polarizing note. Some people feel like it's old,
exactly.
But we made sure to blend it in here in a way that
it's very well blended. It's sophisticated. If you could see, their packaging is very beautiful. It's like bespoke, trendy. That's kind of like that high-end niche. That's what you're going for.
Absolutely.
And they do have 4 fragrances in their line for now.
Yes.
What could we expect in 2024? Are you launching anything?
I don't want to launch too many scents too quickly. Mm-hmm. You know, I know that's been a huge, when I was a collector, that was a huge criticism of brands when they would just push too much out too fast. I want people to have a chance to fall in love with the ones that I've created. And our market penetration is so low that there's still a lot of people to fall in love with. So I'm working on some, we have a sample pack out. I'm working on adding time traveling to it and kind of a new packaging for that. I do want to create a candle. I have some other things that I want to do, incense, some home scents. So that's kind of where I'm going in the immediate future.
Yes, so that's where you are from today until, we'll say like until 2024 ends.
For sure.
Okay, that's amazing. And if you could see, their packaging is also environmental friendly. I love that about the brands, that they're conscious about the environment.
Absolutely. And it also kind of bleeds into the story of Memoir. So the craft packaging kind of lends itself to this being my autobiography. When I was in college and if we would order books from Amazon, they would come in these craft paper envelopes.
Yes.
And in our opening, like we even stamped library cards. So the idea is that you are checking out my book.
Your book, exactly.
This is my book, and you're checking out each center is a chapter of the book.
Yes.
And so the craft paper mailer is the way that we kind of get the word out. You know, we package it up.
So if you have to pick, I know this is going to be a difficult question for
Yeah.
you. Which is your favorite fragrance from your fragrance line, from your brand?
You know, it's tough.
I know.
I answer it like this. The one that I wear the most is Gypsy Eyes.
Okay, Gypsy Eyes with
I like the whiskey
one.
note in it. You know, ultimately, I'd like to have a rum scent. Two of my favorite perfumers is Bertrand Dachouffour
Yes, yes.
and Sidonie Lachaussee. I don't know how to say the name, but I don't know my
They're very
French is not
French.
good.
Yeah.
But because of how well they work with the rum note, so I don't have a rum scent yet, but I do have a whiskey and a bourbon, and so you know those kind of boozy scents really speak to me.
Yes.
But then a street in Bronzeville was special to me because it was the first one I worked on. You know, it was my
I'm
baby.
sure.
It came 5 years before any of the other
Before
scents.
everyone else
Yeah,
started making
so-
their own scents.
Absolutely. So
How is the Black-owned Fragrance Week treating you so far, and the spotlight that's being shed on your brand?
I'm so glad you asked that question. I want to send a huge shout out to Chervalia Wallace and Nordstrom, because these types of opportunities for new brands are hard to come by to get exposure at this level.
Yes.
And Chervalia has been a champion of our brands. She's really done everything she could. She's leveraged her platform. She's leveraged her store. And here's the thing: she hasn't asked for anything. She does it out of the kindness of her heart. So I'm glad you asked that, so we can give
Credit
flowers.
to Chervalia.
If I can say too, I want to shout out Glenn from
Yes.
Mr. Cologne. He was inspirational in my early journey as a collector.
He is inspirational to all of us.
So, you know, I know he launched the Black Fragrance Week. I don't think I'm featured this year,
Well,
but it's okay because I'm still a champion of anyone else getting exposure.
Yes.
And I know it's a great thing and my time will come.
This is actually a really great space to be able to showcasing the Black perfumers and the Black-owned brand and
Yeah.
the fragrances. And it's just, sometimes you feel like the fragrance space is a little bit saturated with the Middle Eastern fragrances,
Sure.
with the European fragrances, and it's nice to finally shine a spotlight on the Black-owned brands.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, for me, in addition to just Black-owned, also, you know, Chicago.
Yes, the
You know, I
culture.
feel like I know that there's another scent I've heard of, 𝐵𝐼.
Zernal, yes.
We haven't met yet, but kudos to him for repping Chicago. New York has its own brands, the Middle East, Paris. But we
Exactly.
needed something for both the culture,
Yes, that is
Black
very
culture,
true.
and Chicago. But really, you know, we're inclusive. We want everybody to love
Yes,
it.
that is very
So,
true.
for sure.
Well, thank you so much, Terrence. I appreciate you being gracious
Thank
with
you.
your time and with your autobiographies here.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to check out more of Memoir's fragrances, you can check them out on Instagram.
At Memoir Fragrances.
And where can they buy your fragrances?
So right now you can buy us online, memoirfragrances.com. We're here in New York at the Brooklyn Circus, the Soho store and the Brooklyn store, and we're in Chicago at the Silver Room.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank you.